Hello, my name is Kim and welcome to a timeless reading where we are going to receive messages from your spirit animal as well as the animal kingdom. Now, because this is a timeless reading, you can tune into this video at any moment in time and the messages will still apply to you. That is, of course, if they are resonating with you. And if once looking at the options, you feel drawn to more than one, then you can definitely select more than one group. That is if you wish to do so. And I do want to give a heads up that in this reading, we might be touching upon some sensitive topics. Therefore, if you're not really wanting to, let's say, dive deep at this moment because you are looking for something more lighthearted, then you might want to come back to this video at a later time if you do feel called to listen to the messages of any one of the groups. Okay, but with that being said, let us now take a closer look at the options. Group 1 is the Starfish. Group 2 is the Dolphin. Group 3 is the Seahorse. Group 4 is the Cardinal. Please take a moment to meditate on the options, and whichever animal or illustration you are drawn to the most, then that will be the group and or reading meant for you. And once more, if you feel drawn to select more than one group, you can definitely do so. Once you have selected a group, please head on over to either the description box or the pinned comment in the comments section down below, where the timestamps that will allow for you to skip ahead to your selected group can be found. And if you are ready, then let us get started. Let's go. Hello, if you were drawn to the Starfish, bienvenidos to your reading. So immediately, I get the feeling that you guys have a lot to say. There's a lot that needs to be expressed, and yet not much is said. Or if you do find yourself speaking your mind or sharing your thoughts or opinions, it might not be as passionately or enthusiastically as you would like, or as it would feel or be natural or organic to you. So in other words, you might often find yourself holding back or in a way restraining yourself, because I do feel like there's a lot that goes unsaid or in a way gets brushed over. And seeing that you were drawn to the Starfish, I wonder if you are often described by others as someone who is quite shy, maybe introverted, quiet, reserved, timid, possibly. I wonder if people often see or perceive you this way, because this might be the way that you come off to others. And it could very well be because you are at times shy or reserved, quiet, introspective. Yet even if you do come off this way to others, or if you are this way, there is still a side of you that is quite, and this is the word that came to mind, rambunctious, that is very passionate, outspoken, loud. And this is the part that lives inside of you, that possibly only you yourself know of, because not a lot of people might see or have seen this side of you yet. And if any of this is resonating with you, your spirit animal, or the spirit, the essence of the Starfish, wants to remind you that it is okay if these two sides of you, these two different, let's say, personalities, coexist or exist within you, because both of these are a part of you. And they can coexist in harmony. You can be both and embody both. A starfish has 5 points, right? And this makes me think of different layers, aspects, facets. So the starfish is here to remind you that you are a multifaceted individual. Although we often speak about our dualistic nature, you are not one or two-dimensional. You are more, you are complex. I don't know why it's coming through this way, but what I heard in my mind was, some days you will glow green, Other days you might glow yellow. Yet that doesn't mean that there won't be tinges of that color you glowed previously, because there will be. So it's not that you're one or the other. You're both, you're all. It's just that at times you might express more of one than the other. And talking about colors and glowing, and made me think of an auric field. So our auric field also changes. It's not constant. So it just goes to show that you are an array of colors. You are, once again, multifaceted. But now I'm going to move on to El Tarot. And I'm going to reveal the message on the back of this card at the end of your reading. So I will begin with this deck. Actually, no, I wanted to pull out a number first. So your number is 2. Interesting, because I spoke about duality, right? And the number 2 can often represent duality. So, you know, there could be something here about you embracing your dualistic nature, your multifaceted, or maybe your spirit animal or the starfish wants to help bring awareness to this, right? That you're not one-dimensional. Number 2 can also speak about balance. And at times it can indicate partnerships, relationships. So what just came to mind was the question, how is your relationship with self? How is your relationship with that part of you that you might not often express or reveal to others? How is it? What I just heard in my mind was the expression hush hush. So there could be something that you are keeping hush hush on the down low. There could be something that you are maybe intentionally, maybe inadvertently repressing or suppressing. Not really wanting for it to show, perhaps. Okay, so the cards that fell out for you guys are the 4 of Vessels with boredom, and the 8 of Vessels, which is the 8 of Cups with rebirth. So the element of water seems to be of significance, considering that the starfish is an aquatic animal. So some of you could be a water, sun, moon, or rising sign, or could have a lot of water placements in your natal chart. So water signs will be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And it's interesting how 2 cards fell out together, again the number 2, and how the numbers 4 and 8 are divisible by 2, are even numbers. So the number 2, or numbers divisible by 2, even numbers, could be of significance. There could be something here about things coming in pairs. Maybe that could be like an important sign or synchronicity for some of you. But the 4 of Vessels can speak about apathy, an emotional disconnect. And the 8 of Vessels can often talk about walking away, letting go, as well as someone withdrawing. So seeing that in both of these cards, we have vessels spilling over their contents. We have vessels overflowing. Your spirit animal wants to bring attention to, again, how it is that you are expressing yourself. If you are allowing yourself to feel your feels, your emotions, if you are allowing yourself to express what you feel. Because there is a lot that is happening behind the scenes. There's a lot that is happening within, underneath the surface, that is either going unnoticed or it's being ignored by you. And seeing all this water, it could be that you are aware there is a lot going on. There is a lot that you are feeling, in other words. And this knowledge, this awareness could be the reason why you are choosing to, in a way, detach or disconnect from your emotions, right? Because either the idea or the thought of feeling all of this could be very overwhelming, or the intensity of your emotions could be quite overwhelming and daunting. Feeling your feels could be at times quite draining. And so some of you could be intentionally choosing to, in a way, disconnect. And it's interesting because the starfish does make me think of someone who is quite sentimental or is quite sensitive, an emotional and sensitive soul. Someone who is quite attuned to the energy around them and even to the emotional state of others. And with all this water, a lot of you could relate to being or identify as an empath or as someone who feels deeply, because I feel like you guys do feel deeply. And as mentioned previously, you are someone who is quite passionate. You do have a lot to say. You do have a lot to express. You see all this greenery that is growing around this person? This vitality is what is within you. It's like you have this rich inner world and it has yet to be tapped into by you. So I wonder what is causing this disconnect, because for a lot of you, this feels like a conscious decision, like something that you've decided to do, either as a means to protect yourself or to keep the peace or to feel less, maybe less burdened, less intensely perhaps. And you get to decide how you go about things, right? Yet, if at times you do feel in a way disconnected, or you do feel apathetic, or possibly even bored, it could be because of this. It could be because you have in a way disconnected from yourself. In a way, your source is how it's coming through, like your water source. So with rebirth being here, starfish wants to let you know that you don't have to completely disconnect from this side of you, from your emotions per se, your emotional body, or this side of you that is quite passionate and sensitive and sentimental, that is quite attuned to all that is, that cares deeply. You can maintain connection with this part of you without it letting overwhelm you. You can let it run is how it's coming through. Because with this river, with this waterfall, it's making me think of letting a river run freely instead of trying to contain it, to control it. Because you can manage the flow of a river by directing it. And so the starfish wants to let you know you can direct your emotions, and you can direct how much comes in, like how much flows in and how much flows out. But in order to start learning how to do that, we need to start opening up to our feelings. We need to allow for that river to flow. And this is being suggested or advised because by maintaining this disconnect, there is a lot that is being held within, a lot that needs to be released, because I'm seeing how these vessels are overflowing. So when there isn't flow, a lot gets stuck and becomes stagnant. And when there is stagnancy, one feels in their energy quite heavy and they feel drained because they're holding on to a lot, to all that stagnant energy. And so if you have been feeling drained, or if you do feel drained at times, it's because there is this disconnect, which is not allowing for things to flow. So either there is something that you are not allowing yourself to feel through, or allowing yourself to express or convey. And for some, it could be that you do want to express yourself. You do want to, the word lively keeps coming to mind, like be lively, be loud. But it could be that your environment, your situation does not really allow for that. Maybe it doesn't hold space for this kind of liveliness, let's say, this kind of depth, perhaps. And so because of that, you might feel, or you might be kind of pushed into keeping things surface level. And that in itself could be very draining. Like I can't express myself, or I can't go in depth, or I can't be as enthusiastic as I want to be. And that is a bummer because it's draining to have to hold back all the time. It's tiring and it's quite numbing as well, because that's how some of you might feel at times, like you're numbing yourself. And so if at times you do feel drained, right, then the starfish is telling you the reason why you feel this way, it's because you're not in the right environment. You need to look for an environment that suits you and meets your needs and allows for you to thrive and to be and to flourish. You know, because sometimes it's not that the environment is at fault. I don't want to make it seem that way. Or it's not that we are at fault. Sometimes it's just that it's not a good match, right? You know, starfish, they will thrive in a certain environment. So you're being encouraged to step into environment spaces in which you can free flow, in which you can express yourself, in which you don't have to hold back so much, in which it is okay or you feel safe to let out and let loose a bit. Maybe connect with people who match your energy, people who are not afraid to be as enthusiastic or excited about what they care about. People who feel as deeply and have a lot to share, or people who can be in stillness without it feeling uncomfortable to them, right? Because some of you could crave that as well, like stillness. Because there's something here about craving something deeper, something more meaningful perhaps. Not going about things always the same way, not always talking about the same things, the same topics over and over and over. There's something here about kind of being bored by or feeling disconnected with the repetitive. And I wouldn't say the mundane, it's more about the common, the small talk, or the what has been said already over and over and over and over again. Because now I'm thinking of someone who is kind of tired of the bandwagon, you know, the expected, what you're expected to say, because it's what's trending or it's what society currently deems to be appropriate or politically correct per se. It's like, because the Four of Vessels is making me think of someone who's craving authenticity. Like, let me hear your unpopular opinions. Let's dive deep. Let's shed layers. Let's truly connect. And it's interesting how this person's attire, their dress, it's like two different hues, green and blue, and they're kind of like merging or mixing, because I did speak about colors before, glowing in different colors. Yeah, so some of you might be craving like diversity, complexity. That could be what your soul is craving. Maybe you yourself are thinking that, it's okay if we keep it monotone and repetitive because it's safe this way. Maybe that's what your brain is kind of leaning towards to, like consistency. Because consistency means safety, consistency means stability, it means peace. Yet deep within, there is a part of you that is wanting something a little bit more diverse, something a little bit more out of the box per se, or just different. And I want to be careful because I think different is not the best word. It's more about authenticity. It's like, I want authenticity. I want something real is how it's coming through. With all this greenery here, it's making me think of someone who just wants to be. They don't want to feel this need to force things or to have to play their day-to-day in a certain way. Because now I thought of someone who is thinking to themselves like, I just want to get up and not have to worry about needing to do my hair a certain way. Like if I want to let it loose, let it down, or not style it, then I want for that to be okay. And some of you could crave connections or conversations in which you can talk about more what may seem to you personally as important topics. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe you're tired of all the deep and shit. Maybe you're tired of like things such as inner work and self-healing and self-improvement, and you're wanting something more relaxed, because that's also the vibe I get with the Four of Vessels. It's like, I just want to be. It's like, I just want to breathe, but I feel like I can't. Or I feel like I can't express myself, because if I do, I have to then introspect and self-reflect and find the meaning behind all of it. And that is very tiring. That is draining. I just want to feel. I just want to be. And so I feel like the Starfish is kind of letting you know, or reassuring you, that that's okay. And there's something here about not waiting for permission from others, right? Not waiting for others to live this way or be this way for you to start living and being this way yourself, because you can create your own trajectory. And it could be lonely at first, right? To take that first step outside of like a box or a circle, because not a lot of people might follow. You might be the only one. But the more steps you take outside of this, let's say, circle, you will come across people who at some point in their own individual journey also decided to step outside of their own circles, the circles that they were in for a while. And what I mean by circles is, this space that feels maybe a little bit restrictive, or that you have outgrown. And it could be a way of being, a way of living, a mentality, belief systems. And so with the Eight of Wands, this is kind of reminding us that sometimes we have to take that first step forward, because only then will we be able to see and experience change and step into environments that are more suiting for us, come into alignment with people who match our energy, who we align with. Because the Eight of Vessels is all about walking away from the old, or that which you have outgrown. It's about adventuring out, seeking for something new. And it takes strength and it takes courage to do that. And that's what the Eight of Cups often represents as well: emotional strength, courage. So I feel like I touched upon different themes here, and I feel it's because it will be different for each one of you, because the reason for why we feel a certain way will vary. It will vary and differ depending on each person. But I feel like the bottom line here is a need to connect with oneself, especially one's emotions, feelings, their inner world, their excitement, their enthusiasm, their passion. If you feel like something is missing in your life, if you feel the sense of incompleteness, it could be because there is a disconnect with an aspect or a side of yourself. It could be your emotional, sentimental, sensitive, enthusiastic, or passionate side, your inner world. Or it could be because a space is needed, a space, an environment in which you can honor this aspect of yourself. Okay, two cards once again fell out together, and we have the Hanged Man in the reversal and the Six of Cups in the reversal. Yeah, so the Hanged Man can speak about new perspectives, but it can also speak about introspection, self-reflection. The Hanged Man is associated with the zodiac sign Pisces, so again, a water sign. Yet the Hanged Man in the reversal can once again speak about apathy, very similar to the Four of Vessels in the upright. Can speak about a disconnect with one's inner being, a detachment from all that is, from source. And then the Six of Cups is a very emotional, sentimental card. It speaks about childhood and the inner child, playfulness, youthfulness. It can speak of the past. So it being in the reverse, it kind of reminds me of the Eight of Cups in the upright, because the Six of Cups in the reversal can indicate a letting go of the past, moving on from the past, a growing up, a maturation. Yet it can also at times indicate someone who is in a way still holding on to the past. So there's different ways I can interpret these. One of them is you're either being advised to allow yourself to be a little bit more playful, not take things too seriously or too hard. It's okay if you take a break from the whole inner healing and self-development, journey. It doesn't always have to be so intense as how it's coming through. Feeling through your emotions doesn't always have to be serious. So I don't know why the word cutthroat is coming to mind. It doesn't have to be so deep, right? You can simply feel your emotions without having to analyze them or intellectualize them or dissect them. You can just feel them. That's okay. And another way I can interpret it is there is something that is being repressed or suppressed, something that is being, it could be unintentionally or intentionally ignored. Because with the Hanged Man in the reversal, it's almost as if someone doesn't want to awaken. They don't want to wake up. They want to continue living some kind of dream. They want to continue being oblivious to something either of the past or something that is quite painful or overwhelming or not so fun is how it's coming through. Yet, choosing to stay oblivious to this or staying oblivious to this, because this could be something that is happening subconsciously. This could be like your mind, your brain's way of helping you, of protecting you, right? By keeping you from experiencing or reliving something that could be quite painful or quite overwhelming or maybe too much at this moment. Yet I'm seeing that by not awakening to this or becoming aware of this or feeling through this, this is ultimately resulting in there being some kind of disconnect from your feelings, your emotional world or your inner world. It could even be resulting in you feeling a disconnect from your inner child. Your inner being is how it's coming through. And as a side effect, you could be experiencing like some level of apathy or like boredom, maybe even a lack of creativity, because it's making me think of like a chain or like an onion, like layers, like one thing affects the other, right? So as an example, right, because this might not be how it is for everybody, but let's say your inner child could be that aspect of you that is connected with joy, fun, play, creativity, excitement, enthusiasm. Yet your inner child is strongly connected to your emotions, your inner world, your inner being. And so if there is a disconnect from your emotions, your inner beings, there is a disconnect from your inner child. And because there is a disconnect from your inner child, there is a disconnect from that playfulness and creativity and enthusiasm, right? So I feel like that's one way of interpreting it, or that's one interpretation that is coming through. But for others of you, it could simply be about, embracing this other side of you, embracing this playful, childlike side of you, perhaps. Because these two cards, the Hangman and the Six of Cups is letting me know, yes, you can be wise and mature and enlightened while still being childlike and playful and innocent, right? Yes, there's a lot that you can know and be aware of, while still there being a lot of things that you are unaware of, that you have still to come to learn. You can be both. It doesn't have to be one. To be mature, to be responsible, per se, to be wise, doesn't mean that you have to stop or you cannot be playful and goofy and childlike. To be goofy, playful, and silly doesn't mean that you aren't or can't be mature or wise. You can be both. And I'm sure you have met people who embody both, who might be very goofy and silly when you first meet them, but then when you start having a deep conversation with them, you realize that they can go deep and they're quite philosophical and very introspective and quite wise. So again, with the number 2, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. You can make space for both, and you have enough space for both. And if there are certain themes, topics, certain experiences that you find it difficult to dive into, if there is emotional trauma perhaps, or something that you feel you need to address, but you don't know how to, then remember, you don't have to do this alone, and you don't have to jump into it, right? You can take it a step at a time and have someone with you as you take these steps. Because again, 2 is making me think of connection and partnership. So it's okay if you have someone by your side as you allow yourself to dive deep or to unfold, as you begin to heal or release or reconnect. Because this is not about downplaying the intensity, how intense you feel about something or just how intensely you feel. Because if you feel intensely about something, then it's valid. It's more so about finding a way to allow yourself to feel and to experience these aspects of yourself, to not have to shut down, to feel safe. Because rebirth is making me think of a renewal, a new approach. And the hangman can speak about that, like new perspectives, new approaches. So maybe a different outlook, a different perspective is needed, or a different approach. And remember, these here are just suggestions, right? It's an outlook into a possible situation that might not be exact or extremely specific because it is quite general. So this is not to say you have to do this or this is exactly what is needed, because whether that is the case or it isn't, it will very much depend on you and what you feel is right for you and what resonates and makes sense for you. Okay, but now I'm going to read the message on the back of this card. So we have Sea Star with sensation, and the message: Sea Star teaches us to trust what we cannot see. She reminds us that sight is but one sensation of our existence. Access to complete wisdom requires being open to feeling. In her example, we gather our impulses in an effort to feel more, understand more, and connect more. Her acceptance of life reminds us that we can thrive contrary to our own disbelief. When Sea Star presents, we are bathed in sensitivity. She encourages us to listen to our instincts to recapture our life. So maybe at some point in the past, there was a need to, in a way, disconnect. Or your brain, right, your survival instincts found it necessary to disconnect, to disassociate, to detach a bit, to keep you safe, right? Because that happens. Our brain, our body, our nervous system works in miraculous ways to protect us. And so if that is the case, just know that your mind, your brain, your body was doing its best to protect you. Yet if now you are in a space in which you feel safe, where things are different, they're a lot more stable perhaps, or in which you can provide safety to yourself, then it's about, in a way, reframing and reprogramming the mind so that it won't feel this need to keep using this kind of method to keep you safe, because you are now safe, right? So it's kind of like teaching the brain, reassuring the brain, letting the brain see and know that you are now safe. Safe to feel, safe to express, safe to be, possibly even safe to connect. But I do want to pull out one last oracle card just to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. Some of the messages on these cards do have questions in them. And so I do recommend that if you feel called to do so, to sit with these questions, meditate on them, introspect about them, because these questions could enlighten you about something or can help you see something from a more helpful perspective. But, that is, of course, if you're open to it, because the Hanged Man in the reversal makes me think of someone who needs to be open, who needs to be willing to be open to either receiving messages or looking at things from a more helpful perspective or seeing things from a different perspective in order to receive answers or clarity or become enlightened about something important. But let's see. But we have communication with Gemini and material. And the key phrase, a message in a bottle travels by sea. With the message, your words and ideas reach further than you may know. We are all connected, and the way we express our thoughts can have influence on others. Open the channels of communication and exchange ideas with respect, kindness, and love. Yeah, as mentioned previously, I feel like there's a lot that has yet to be conveyed, or there's a lot that possibly you're bottling up. And it's not just about how you feel, it's like ideas, thoughts, notions. I feel like you have a lot of opinions. You have a lot of, again, ideas that you have yet to share. And of course, it's up to you whether you share these or not. You're not obligated to communicate anything. Yet I feel like with the sun being here, there is a part of you that becomes alive when they are allowed to express themselves and to share their opinions, or to enter into some kind of discourse or discussion and engage and participate. Yet something else I'm seeing here is the importance of acknowledging the responsibility that comes with communicating your thoughts, your ideas, or entering into a discourse, participating in a discussion, connecting with another. Communication is a tool, it's a weapon, it's power, right? And I'm being reminded of the advice Uncle Ben gave to Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility. Your words will have an impact. And it's kind of, I feel like, with Sea Star, or the Sea Star is reminding you of that, how it is our responsibility, how we handle this weapon, communication, how we utilize it. It's like it makes me think of like the comment section. Like you have the freedom to comment whatever it is that you want. Yet, if you ever do decide to comment on something, or to leave a comment, are you considering the fact that someone will be reading that comment? And if it's directed to someone in specific, are you considering the fact that you are leaving a comment for someone who does exist, someone who also has feelings and emotions, someone who's also on their own journey, someone who's also maybe recovering from something or going through something, right? So it's important to remember that we are part of something bigger. We're not living, is that the expression? We're not living in a vacuum. It's not just us against the world. It's not you against the world. It's you and the world. You are part of this world. And I do want to clarify that to be mindful of your communication does not mean being responsible for how others choose to respond or how they react to what it is that you choose to communicate, express, or convey. It's sort of like being considerate of others is not the same thing as taking full responsibility for how others feel or choose to respond or react to what it is that you say, do, or don't do. Yes, but communication seems to be of importance. I feel like a lot of you could be encouraged to go into communications, maybe a field in communications, or to maybe practice your communication skills. If you ever felt inspired to do so, you feel like you're being reassured or confirmed that that's a good idea. And communication is also making me think of your connection with Source, the divine, your inner wisdom, your higher self. So the more you connect with yourself, with your emotional realm per se, the stronger the communication between you and your higher self, or the divine source or spirit, if you want to look at it that way, or your inner wisdom will become or will be. You will hear your intuition the more clear and louder. Messages in a bottle could be of significance, as well as the sun imagery. We have the sea star and the bat, as well as chicks. These could be important animals, spirit animals of yours. And for zodiac signs, we have, as mentioned, Pisces and then Gemini. And I'm also getting Cancer. So you could be a Cancer, Pisces, Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign, or have these signs somewhere in your natal chart, but you don't have to for these messages to apply to you. That is, of course, if they did resonate with you. And Gemini is represented by the twins, which also speaks of duality. Interesting. So once again, things that come in pairs, twins, the number 2, numbers that are divisible by 2 could be of significance. The more you connect with yourself, the stronger your psychic abilities will be, especially the ability to telepathically communicate with others. Because we all have that ability. It's just that some of us are more open to it than others. But the more you connect with your inner being, with your emotions, the easier it will be for you to telepathically communicate and connect with others or manage this ability, as well as receive messages from universe, the divine, the cosmos, the collective, etc. But these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings if you are interested. The link to my website can be found in the description box down below. And to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And yeah, this is all for now. Thank you to my spirit guides and your spirit team, as well as your spirit animals and the presence or essence of any other animal or being who came through in this reading for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to the dolphin, bienvenidos to your reading. So I wonder if you guys are currently practicing patience, how to be patient, maybe even how to manage or soothe your temper, because I was feeling a bit dysregulated before I began your reading. I was feeling irritable since there was a lot of noise, background noise, which makes it difficult to record and to concentrate on the readings and what is coming through. At least for me, it makes it a bit difficult to concentrate and focus on the readings. Yet, as soon as I zoned in to your energy, as soon as I connected, I immediately felt at peace, calm, relaxed, grounded. So you guys could have a very peaceful energy, or you yourself are quite a peaceful, serene individual. But if you feel like this doesn't really represent you and how you are in your day-to-day, then again, this could be how your energy comes off, or that your very essence is quite serene, peaceful, as well as accepting. What came to mind right now was you don't differentiate, you don't judge. That doesn't mean that you don't see the differences, you do, but you don't discriminate is what is coming through. Or, this could also be representing the energy or the essence, the personality of the spirit animal that is coming through for you guys. Because I feel like the spirit animal that is coming through for you guys, which could be the dolphin, knows how to entertain themselves. They can be quite silly. And so they don't take themselves or the world so seriously, in the sense of they can crack a joke without being at the expense of others. Because although this spirit animal doesn't take themselves in the world so seriously, that doesn't mean that they aren't serious or that they have no respect for themselves, because they do. And they are quite serious about how much they care about the world and those who they are assisting and helping. And if this is coming up, at the start of your reading, I feel like this is important. These could be some of the themes that the spirit animal is working with you on, or maybe we're getting a little bit about them as a confirmation to you, because I feel like the spirit animal wants to make themselves known to you or to introduce themselves to you. Because something I found quite interesting was that a lot of words that start with the letter R kept popping up in my mind. And so that brought the letter R to my attention. So the letter R, or a name that starts with the letter R, could be of significance. Maybe the name of this spirit animal could start with the letter R, or your spirit animal is an animal whose species name starts with the letter R. But with the color yellow here in the background, this is making me think of the solar plexus chakra, which is an energy center that deals with confidence, our self-esteem, self-worth. self-identity. And so I feel like this spirit animal is working with you to help you create a good and strong sense of self. They could be helping you to build your confidence or to improve your self-esteem. This might sound weird, but the energy of the spirit animal that is coming through for you guys, it feels a bit nonchalant, but at the same time quite direct, very straightforward. Like, yes, they can crack a good joke, but also they can hit the nail right on the head. And so what came to mind was they're helping you to build a stronger backbone. That's one way to put it, because how I would phrase it is they're here to help you feel and stay empowered in the face of challenges, adversity, and opposition. So there's something here about them working with you on building a strong sense of self so that you won't get lost amidst all the noise or feel lost amidst all the noise. But now I'm going to move on to the rest of the cards. Okay, so 2 cards fell out together. And we have Queen of Vessels with Salmon. I chuckled because at some point I did see in my mind's eye a swordfish. And that just made me think of fishes in general. And then, we have a salmon here, which is a fish. So aquatic mammals and fishes could be of significance, or they could be a spirit animal of yours. But we also have the 3 of Vessels, which is the 3 of Cups, joy, in the upright. Yeah, so with the 3 of Cups, this makes me think of gaiety, celebration, fun. I don't know why, but I thought of the expression 3 geezers coming together to crack jokes. So the 3 of Cups makes me think of gathering with friends, with like-minded people to catch up or to have a good time. And the Queen of Vessels, which is the Queen of Cups in traditional tarot, can speak of someone who is very in tune with their emotions and also quite attuned to the emotional state of others. And so, and I forgot to pull out a number. I was supposed to do that before I pulled out the tarot cards. But what I was going to say is these 2 cards side by side are hinting at the importance or significance of emotionally connecting with others. So your spirit animal wants to encourage this. And I'm getting a bit of a mixed messages here because for one, I'm seeing something about you not getting lost in the crowd, right? Having that emotional connection with others, yet also having boundaries. So for one thing, your spirit animal wants to give you a heads up that very soon, or maybe you already are, but very soon, you will be connecting with like-minded people. You will be coming into union or into alignment with members of your soul tribe, your soul family, or people whose energy matches your energy. We do have, I think these are cranes, or there could be herons, I'm not sure. Yet, even though these are of the same species, each crane or heron here came with a very different cup. And so this makes me think of the people you will be connecting with could be either on the surface quite different from you, right? They could look very different. They could be of a different cultural background, of a different ethnicity, have a different socioeconomic background. Yet beneath the surface, they are very similar to you. So meaning they will have similar values, similar beliefs, similar ideologies, similar level of integrity, or similar interests, viewpoints. And it is these similarities that make it easier for you to connect, or that bring you together. Or on the other side of the coin, these are individuals who look very similar to you, or on the surface, they're very similar. So they could be the same cultural background, same ethnicity. They could have a similar upbringing as you, same socioeconomic background, or you all experience similar hardships, difficulties, challenges. And it is through these similarities that you connect. Yet, underneath the surface, there are a lot of differences between you, which means that you could have different perspectives, different beliefs, different approaches to life. Because with the Three of Vessels, both things are being highlighted, the similarities and the differences. So it's not like one is more important than the other. Both of them are equally as important. If it weren't for the similarities, maybe you wouldn't have found some common ground. Yet if it weren't for the differences, you wouldn't have had a glue that will keep you together enough to really get to know each other and connect. Because again, remember, we're talking about emotional and possibly even spiritual connection here. And so what I'm seeing is these individuals are going to play a very important role in your life because they're going to teach you so many things. And I was careful not to use the word lessons because I don't really think that word really fits here. Yet, if there is a lesson that will be learned, I think it will be possibly one, which is to be open to learning from others via connecting with them and hearing their side of the story. Because I'm seeing two different things here. I'm seeing one is to really connect with these individuals, you will either have to get past the differences or get past the similarities, not get clouded or blinded by any of these. And I think that's why that whole message about building a strong backbone came through at the beginning and a strong sense of self. Because, again, I'm seeing two different scenarios here. One is a scenario of someone who is in a friend group or wants to be part of a friend group so much so that they start likening themselves to the individuals in that friend group, like becoming more like them so that then they can fit into the friend group or be accepted by the group, right? So if there's like a fear of being rejected or of not truly fitting in, then one could subconsciously start behaving in a way that they feel or believe would make them more acceptable. Yet them behaving in this way leads them farther and farther away from their true self. And there's also something here about like, it could be that if one doesn't have a strong sense of self, they kind of get lost in the crowd. They can get more easily influenced by those around them, by their friend group, by their friends, by their peers. As an example, it sometimes happens that when we meet people who we connect with, we start to assimilate a lot of their traits, characteristics, or start getting influenced by them, right? And it could be like inadvertently or subconsciously, right? So that's one scenario. The other scenario is, especially with the salmon here, that one can be so resistant to the idea of being part of a crowd that they do their hardest to be different, to stand out. And in the process of that, they could do things and behave in ways that is out of alignment with who they truly are, right? Because the goal here is not to be authentic or to be themselves, but rather it is to be different than the rest. And so, you know, those are two very different things, but I feel like they have like a common ground, because regardless of the situation, when one has a strong sense of self, we don't worry about these things. We don't worry about either fitting in or needing to be different, because there isn't a fear of either getting lost in the crowd or being accepted. So I feel like these people who you will come into alignment with, they will challenge you in some way. And the ultimate goal of this challenge will be for you to feel okay and safe in being yourself and feeling and being confident in who you are. One thing that is coming through with the Three of Vessels is that these individuals, because it could be definitely more than one, will be quite the jokesters as well. I don't know why that keeps coming through. They will be very silly. They will be very goofy. Like, these are individuals who either don't take things personally, and that doesn't mean that they have any disregard for other people's emotions, feelings, or emotional state of being. It's more so that they know not to take everything so personally, because in doing so, that weakens their own boundaries is how it's coming through, or that creates confusion, that creates inner turmoil. The example that is coming to mind is, if I were to care about what every single person says and or view it as a personal attack, it's like inviting every single person into my space, into my home. And that's a lot. I don't want to deal with that. So I choose what to make personal. And I choose to not make everything so personal, because that would be a lot. And so in a very, again, blunt way, it's like these people know how to lighten up. They know how to lighten the mood. They know how to make fun of situations, not in a way to belittle them, but rather to bring light to them, to lighten them, to make them less heavy, to make them more manageable. It's an interesting energy, I will say, and I'm a little bit hesitant in my wording and how to convey this, because I feel like it can come off a certain way, because it's quite a unique energy. Although it might not seem like it, I feel like this requires some level of, like, high level of emotional maturity and intelligence. Like having that discernment of, well, I don't really need to worry about that, or I don't really need to concern myself over that because it's inconsequential, versus, no, that did really cross a line, or that does call for me to either set a boundary or step up, say something, or put my foot down. So I feel like in the dynamic with these people, as you connect with them, you might be learning how to do that. You might be learning how to, set your boundaries and maintain your boundaries whilst allowing yourself lightheartedness, and how to stay true to you. And so staying true to you could mean being comfortable with being different, or being comfortable with having similarities with others, with being similar to others, because neither one is right or wrong. Neither one is better than the other. Both of them are okay. But let me pull out a number. So we have 4. And 4 makes me think of stability, security. It makes me think of something grounded, solid, foundations. Number 4 also makes me think of protection. So I feel like you are also learning, or soon you will be learning, how to protect your energy, like set those boundaries, but also how to set energetic boundaries. Right? Because I feel with the Queen of Vessels, a lot of you could be empaths, or as mentioned, you are quite attuned to the energy around you and to the energy of others and the emotional state of others. And so if that is the case, that could be the reason why you often find yourself kind of embodying certain traits and characteristics of people who you spend a significant amount of time with, or who you end up emotionally connecting with. With the 3 of Cups, it's making me think of you possibly experiencing and or feeling what others are currently feeling, right? So if someone who you have emotionally bonded with is feeling joy, then in that moment, you yourself might be feeling joy, regardless of whether you are in physical proximity or not. The simple fact that you have emotionally bonded, that there is this emotional connection, is what is allowing for you to be able to feel and or experience what the other is going through. Because this connection is what is allowing for that. Because you are so attuned to energy, I feel like you're quite open or sensitive to it. This could be one of your abilities, right? Your sensitivity, your openness to energy, to feel, which is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing because I feel like this is the very thing that also helps you to deeply connect with others and understand others on an emotional level, possibly even on a spiritual level. Some of you could make excellent therapists, counselors, or energy readers, channelers as well. I'm also getting like creators. But with this in mind, it's important to, have those boundaries or kind of that awareness, that discernment, so that you know when you are starting to pick up on energy that isn't of you, when you're starting to pick up on emotions or feelings that are not of you, so that then you can detach instead of embody. Because then that can create confusion. If we don't have that discernment, we can start feeling or believing that what we are experiencing, what we're picking up on, is our own, when in actuality it isn't. And so having a good sense of self can help with having this discernment and also having these boundaries. Because when you get to know yourself a lot better, it's easier for you to discern and differentiate between what is of you, what is coming from you, what is your energy, and what is coming from the energy of someone or something else. And it could also be that your ability to feel so keenly the energy of others could be the reason why, if this is the case for you, if this resonates, why you choose to at times detach or disconnect or move away from the crowd, kind of separate yourself, because you might maybe unconsciously or consciously know that, especially if you don't have these boundaries or this discernment, that you can literally get lost in the crowd, in the collective energy. And if you've experienced that before, you might know that that's not a fun time. And so that could be why there's this resistance, right? Why you're constantly, like the salmon trying to swim up the stream, move in a different direction than from where everybody else is moving, so that you can maintain your individuality, so that you can maintain your sense of self. And so whatever the case might be, I feel like in you having this strong sense of self, having this discernment, these boundaries, you won't find or feel this need to do any of the things I just mentioned. It will be easier for you to connect without this worry of feeling or getting lost or not being able to connect with others, perhaps. Because something else I'm seeing is that if you are very emotionally attuned, let's say, or you're quite attuned to the energy around you, the energy of others, and if you find it difficult to connect with others, it's not that you cannot connect. It could instead be because it's making me think of volume, right? So to help illustrate this, let's say you're in a room and the television is on, and it's at a certain volume, level 10, let's say. But at the same time, the radio is on and the volume is at like 50. And what you want to listen to is the television. But it's difficult to tune into what is being said on the TV because the radio is so loud. But that doesn't mean that you're not receptive to the audio or the noise coming from the television. You are. It's just that the radio is so loud. And so we have to kind of lower down the volume of the radio so that then we can listen to what is being said on the television. And so that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like sometimes what you're picking up from others could be so loud that it could be difficult to listen to what is coming from within. And if it's difficult to listen to what is coming from within, then it might be a little bit difficult to express it, to convey it. And so that could result in, let's say, feeling like we're not connecting with others because we're not able to fully express ourselves. Because it's making me think of attention and focus, right? So going back to that example of the radio and the TV, the radio being so loud, even though we want to focus on the TV, we can't help, or our brain can help but focus on the radio because it's so loud. And so in some cases, you might end up focusing so much on others, right, that it starts being like a connection where it's between two people because now it's solely on others and not about you. Right? Which loses that whole like reciprocity kind of thing that happens in connections. Because for you to be connected, you also have to be involved. You also have to feel involved. But if we're just focusing on the other, then that's kind of hard. And so I feel like, again, having that strong sense of self and having those boundaries will help to balance things out, where you no longer feel lost in what is going on around you, because now you can center in yourself while still taking in the information coming from outside of you. And this will allow for that connection. I hope that made sense. And I feel like these partnerships, these relationships, these connections, they will help with that. But it's important that you're open, right? Open to connecting, open to, as mentioned, having differences and having similarities. But for clarifiers, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. Another queen. Interesting. A lot of feminine energy here. Feminine energy is about receptivity, receiving. It's also a very nurturing energy as well. And we have the Seven of Wands in the reversal. I find this quite interesting as well, because the Seven of Wands, when it is in the upright, it can speak about staving off, like pushing away or trying to keep something away. So it being in the reverse, it makes me think of boundaries, healthy boundaries. Because the Seven of Wands in the upright can sometimes make me think of someone who is guarded, on the defensive. And that can be confused at times with having boundaries or setting boundaries. But I feel like even though it's confused, it's not exactly the same, right? So the Seven of Wands in the reversal is speaking about having healthy boundaries, having a healthy level of discernment, and spiritual protection as well. Like, this is you being aware of what is not of you and keeping it away. Or this is you having that awareness of, okay, I'm taking in too much, time to start putting up those force fields. Or I'm sensing energy that I don't really want to connect with right now. It's time to ward it off. I don't want it here. So this is you having this awareness. And I feel like that's what the spirit animal is working on you with. Like energy protection, having this awareness and having these healthy boundaries. And it will be through having a good or strong sense of self, having a healthy level of confidence, as well as assertion. Because we do have the Queen of Pentacles in the upright, which is an earth sign, by the way. So that will be Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And the Queen of Vessels is a water sign. So that will be Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So you could have one of these or more of these signs in your natal chart somewhere, maybe in your 4th house or 3rd. But with the Queen of Pentacles, this makes me think of someone who is grounded, Queen being an earth sign, yet who is also very nurturing and open to receiving. Like, it's making me think of someone who's open to receiving guests, but in moderation, right? So the Queen of Pentacles makes me think of, again, someone who is not judgmental, or like they welcome everybody, right? They don't differentiate, they don't discriminate. That's the word I was looking for. Yet that doesn't mean that the Queen of Pentacles isn't selective, because the Queen of Pentacles is selective. They don't discriminate, yet they are selective about who they allow into their space. They are selective as to who they share their pentacle with, their resources with, their energy with. And so I feel like, I guess maybe also one of the lessons here in general, it's like seeing that you don't need to go to extremes to protect your energy. Like, you don't need to close yourself completely off in order to protect your energy. And you don't need to open yourself up and be, in a way, completely, utterly vulnerable to connect with others or be part of a collective. There can be a middle ground, right? Where, yes, you can have your boundaries, which doesn't mean that you're closed off or you're putting up walls. It means that you have a set of lines that you know are important and are non-negotiables that people are not meant to cross, or others' energies are not meant to cross. And this is what keeps you and your energy safe. Yet, amidst all these lines, there is a door. There is a doorway. There are windows in which, when you choose to, you open to allow energies in, to allow people in, which is what allows for connection. So there is an openness here, but there's also strong, healthy boundaries. And the Queen of Pentacles knows that they are worthy, that what they have to offer is something of value. And I love it how we're talking about like confidence and self-esteem. And then we have two queens here. So for a lot of you, this could be about embodying your inner queen, seeing yourself as important, because you are, right? You are important. You are as equally as important as everybody else. So maybe the Queen of Pentacles is also asking of you to like focus on you from time to time. You know, the orangutan, I think this is an orangutan, right? Is asking of you to focus on yourself. Extend the love and care you give to others to yourself. And I'm not sure if I already mentioned this. I had to pause recording for a bit and resume at a later time. So I can't exactly recall, but the Queen of Pentacles is to me indicating healthy self-worth, self-esteem. So knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing that you are worthy no matter what is important. And it's interesting how I kept talking about cracking jokes at some point. And now I wonder if for some, there could be a lesson around not engaging in things such as self-deprecation or allowing for jokes to be made at your expense. Because it's making me think, and I hope you never experienced this and never will, which is how sometimes there are situations in which someone is passive aggressive and they pass it off as a joke, or is mean or is rude and they try to pass it off as a joke, or this behavior of, I didn't mean it, I was just joking, or loosen up, it was just a joke. You know, those kind of phrases, those kind of situations. And how sometimes, you know, because we think that laughing it off or just letting it be is better than standing up for ourselves, that's exactly what we do. And we don't end up setting that kind of boundary. We don't end up advocating for ourselves. We just let it be. And I think those are the things that maybe some of you are differentiating and discerning. Like, when is it time to stand up for yourself? When is it time to set those boundaries and acknowledging your own feelings, right? If something someone said hurt your feelings, it's acknowledging that, right? Not dismissing it. Because in acknowledging those things, that is also one way in which we can learn what our boundaries are, or where we need to set boundaries, what our limits are, what is not okay. And also knowing these sort of things, or, you know, setting these boundaries can help with you discerning who are your friends and who it is that you feel safe and comfortable with to joke about certain things, maybe topics or issues or experiences that with others you wouldn't feel so comfortable even mentioning. And I do need to take a moment to clarify that to acknowledge that what someone else said ended up hurting our feelings does not mean making that person responsible for how we felt. I think this is something very important to note, because this is one of the things your spirit animal is bringing to your attention, which is acknowledging how you feel does not mean making someone else responsible for the way that you feel. Okay, but now I'm going to draw out one last oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. The expression brother from another mother just came to mind. Oh, so, and if you find it difficult to connect with people who share your similar sense of humor, these people will definitely share your sense of humor, or they will have a similar sense of humor as you. You could have similar references, or you will get each other's references. And if at first you don't, there's something here about teaching each other each other's references, and then having inside jokes about that. But we have collaboration with Aquarius and Spirit. The key phrase, a buzzing beehive produces honey. And the message, working as a group can produce a result that far transcends what one could accomplish alone. Through mutual effort, solve problems. By sharing ideas and defining collective ideals, the act of cooperation can provide a buzz of inspiration that lifts your spirits. Yeah, I feel like your spirit animal, or the essence of the dolphin, wants to remind you or nudge you to connect with others, to work with others, cooperate, and to share your ideas. I did mention the collective at some point. Yeah, so some of these people you will be aligning with could be people that you will end up working with or collaborating with on something. These could also be people that maybe you go to school with or end up going to school with or learning with. But I definitely do see you growing with these individuals or creating something together. But the following will sound very corny, which is creating a beautiful friendship together. The beehive always makes me think of community. So another thing I'm seeing is you finding your community. Again, you finding your tribe or building a community. So if you ever wonder whether you could be a part of a community, or whether you would find your community, or whether you will ever be able to connect with someone or with others, with a group, this is your confirmation and your reassurance that yes, you can. Your people are out there. Some of you could already be connecting with some of these individuals who are part of your community, part of your tribe. And remember, you don't have to face everything alone, right? You can find solutions to problems with others. And Aquarius makes me think of individuals who stand out, right? I often think of Aquarius as the alien of the zodiac, and I mean this in the way of they're the star, right? They're otherworldly. They're the ones who march to the beat of their own drum and play by their own rules. So if you ever felt different or unique, you will come into contact with or alignment with individuals who also at some point felt different or unique, or who are quite unique themselves. Yes, but the zodiac sign Aquarius, as well as earth and water signs, could be of significance. I'm getting Virgo and Cancer. Virgo with the Queen of Pentacles and Cancer with the Queen of Vessels in specific, but it could just be an earth and water sign. For animals, we have the dolphin, the bee, the salmon or a fish, herons, cranes, wolves or canines, as well as apes or the orangutan, bunnies, hares, as well as hamsters, guinea pigs. Could be a spirit animal of yours, or could be of significance, of importance. The pear here is also standing out to me, so pears or fruits could be of significance. And as for numbers, we of course have 4, as well as 7 and 3. Oh, and the flowers, daisies and roses, could be of significance. Angel numbers could also be of importance. This little cupid here made me think of angels and angel numbers. Oh, and I almost forgot, I am meant to read the message that is on the back of this card, so that is what I will do now. So we have Dolphin with pure of heart, and the message, Dolphin is pure of heart, friendly and protective of all creatures. She represents strong moral convictions, reminding us to speak our minds, honest, sincere, and guileless. She is self-confident and trusts her instincts. In her positive disposition, we find harmony and balance. She encourages us to be curious, exploring and enjoying life. A true friend to the end, her playful nature is a reminder to approach each occasion with delight. So interesting. Of course, I've had this deck for years now, but I don't remember what the message is for each card. So honestly, I have no clue what is on the back of each card that came out for this general reading. So I find it quite interesting how, the message here kind of goes hand in hand with the messages that came through in the reading. And the fact that true friend is here really stood out to me. Yeah, so you're connecting with true friends, and yeah, you're connecting with individuals who care and who protect and who have strong moral convictions of their own. And these could be individuals who don't mind standing up for others when they feel it is needed. Yeah, so it's beautiful energy here with the dolphin. But some of you could be starting a nonprofit with friends, or again, with people who you will ultimately establish a beautiful friendship or bond with. Or you will end up being part of a collective, of a group of people who inspire or help others or assist in some way. Maybe assist Mother Nature, but it could be also assist communities who volunteer, who uplift, right? Who protect, who defend. Like a group of philanthropists, humanitarians, animal activists, for example. Or what just came through in specific, this might not be for everybody, but you might end up being part of a group of comedians or entertainers, people who bring laughter, who bring joy. But it could also be creatives, who inspire creativity in others. Okay, but these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching until the very end, and a huge thank you to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them run in the background, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides, as well as your spirit animals and any other being of light who came through for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to the Seahorse, bienvenidos to your reading. So the message, resist the urge to flounder, came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group. And I will say, I find this to be quite a peculiar message. I did have to look up the word flounder because I didn't, off of the top of my head, knew what the definition to this word was. Yet, this message could mean various different things for various different people who are resonating with it or find that it applies somehow to a current situation of theirs. Yet my personal interpretation of this is that this is trying to convey the importance of simplicity, or you're being advised to keep it light, to keep it simple, or to simplify things, not overcomplicate things for yourself. It's possible that your spirit animal or the seahorse is coming through to teach you how to take it slow from time to time, or if you're feeling currently stressed, maybe where to reduce the stress, what to remove from your life, what to simplify to reduce stress, for example. Because I just get the feeling that the seahorse is here to show you guys that something or some things in your life don't have to be so difficult. They can be easy, they can be simple. I know that's very general, but hopefully we'll get more specific information as we dive deeper with the rest of the cards. So I am now going to move on to the rest of the cards, and I will be sharing the message on the back of this specific card at the end of your reading. But before I pull out a card, I actually want to draw out a number. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, and we have the number 10. So 10 often indicates endings, completion. Oh, okay. I almost forgot, but this number made me remember. Something else that came through was the message, stay on the path. And I did get the feeling that you are being advised or suggested to continue on, to keep on going with something or to keep on going. And seeing that we have the number 10 here, the reason why you are being advised to keep on going, to persevere, is because you're so close to completing maybe a journey, maybe a cycle, a phase, or a project, maybe, if this has something to do with a project. And interesting because the 10th house in astrology has to do with achievements, life direction, career, profession, social status, as well as honor, authority. So maybe for some, this has something to do with your career, with your profession, line of work, with a goal perhaps. So if you're starting to lose fuel per se, then, the seahorse or your spirit animal is coming through to re-energize you, to motivate you, because they see that you're so very near to maybe achieving a goal or to reaching that finish line, again, to completing something, or maybe even experiencing a breakthrough. Interesting. Okay, but let me... Oh, and what I just heard right now was we're about to wrap this up. We're about to wrap it up. Or you're being let know that something can be completed. Something can be seen through. Or there is a way out, or there is a way through, or there is an ending to something. But let me see. I might need to pause and resume the reading at a later time because I just noticed that I'm running out of battery. Well, the camera is running out of battery. I'm at 3% right now. Or why do I keep saying that? I mean, the camera is at 3% right now. Oh, interesting. I mentioned 3 and then look what we have. The 3 of bows with fulfillment. And this is the 3 of wands in traditional tarot. So the number 3 and the number 10 as well as the number 1 could be of significance. These could be life path numbers, 1 and 3. Or these could be birth months, January, March, and October. Or birthdays, but don't have to be. So the 3 of bows can speak about hard work paying off or being happy with one's choices, outcomes. It's a card that indicates freedom as well as great potential. This card can also often indicate travel or relocation, moving abroad. So maybe for some, this is a heads up that soon you will be traveling, especially traveling overseas or relocating. And a lot of you could be relocating due to or as a result of work, getting hired somewhere, or because of your career, your line of work, your profession, or even studies, higher education. I'm seeing that some of you could end up moving or traveling or relocating while you are in the pursuit of something or because you are pursuing something. Yet, seeing that we have the key term fulfillment here, I was talking about completion with the number 10. So it seems like something is coming to an end or you are fulfilling something. Something will be fulfilled. Right? Like a trajectory, maybe a wish. There will be a wish fulfillment. A goal will be achieved. Yet for this to happen, you might need to continue on. You might need to either start pursuing begin or continue. Remember, this card indicates hard work paying off, right? Someone being happy with the outcome of something. So I think having this person standing at the beginning of this divided path, it's making me think that at this moment, you are reaching a point in your journey where it will very much depend on you. It's up to you whether you do want to continue, right? Because I feel like your spirit animal is kind of saying, yes, we're encouraging you to keep on going, to continue on a path, but that's if you want to, because you don't have to, you're not obligated to continue on this path. And seeing that we actually have a path that is divided into two paths, it sort of seems like you are reaching a point in which you do need to make some kind of decision. You are being asked to choose, and you're being let known whatever you choose is right. There's no right or wrong answer here. It just depends on what you want. And I wonder if this is a situation in which things are unfolding a little bit differently than what you anticipated or expected. And so if this is the case, now you could be wondering whether you're heading in the right direction, right? Whether if you continue on a certain path, you will get the outcome that you were hoping for, even if things look so differently than how you had planned or anticipated. And I feel the answer to your question will be yes, because the Three of Bows is reminding me of the idea that there are multiple ways to get to one single destination, right? So sometimes we start our journey planning the whole trip, not accounting for the unexpected. But in life, there is always an unexpected. There is always some unknowns. And so when beginning anything, I think it's important to have that in mind, because having that in mind is already preparing for it. So that when these unexpected things do pop up or show up on our path, it doesn't really, it might throw us off guard, but it won't be that much of a surprise. And it won't feel like we are being thrown off our path or like things aren't working out, because we in a way expected for this. It's part of the journey, right? So if there has been some unexpected things, some things that you didn't account for or plan for, I feel like the seahorse or your spirit animals is saying, you might not have anticipated this, but that doesn't mean that it's not part of the journey, because it's very much part of the journey. But something else that is coming through is if you do have to make a decision, if you are presented with options and you do have to choose, and if you are going back and forth, if that is the case, because you're wondering which is the better path, again, you're being let know that there's no right or wrong, because both of these paths, they have their own set of goodies, perks per se, as well as their own set of challenges. So it's not like one will be less difficult than the other or easier than the other. They will each have their own set of challenges and their own set of perks. So it's more so about you deciding for yourself which path or what thing you're willing to see through, right? It's making me think of these couple of reels I came across on Instagram. It talked about discomfort. Like, for example, telling someone that you're uncomfortable having a specific kind of conversation is uncomfortable, but also having that conversation will be as equally or even more uncomfortable. So seeing that speaking up and maybe setting a boundary, as well as just pushing through, both will be as uncomfortable, but maybe one more than the other, then it's up to you to decide in that situation which discomfort is worth the while. If at the end you have to go through with one, which one is more worth the while, right? Maybe that's a terrible example, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, seeing that both of these paths, have their own set of challenges and their own set of perks, then it's not about trying to figure out which will be more challenging than the other. It's more so about which one are you willing to see through regardless of the challenges, regardless of the perks. Because the path or the journey or the thing is worth it. And I know that's a very simplified way to look at it, but that's kind of what's coming through here to get to like the bottom or the core of this message. And it's interesting how I'm talking about like challenges, because at the beginning of your reading, there was something about your spirit animal possibly coming through to help you see or realize that something doesn't have to be so difficult, or that things can be simplified or be easy. And so maybe it's more about a way of looking at things, a perspective. It's more about the approach. So I wonder if for some, this could be like you need to make a decision and you're overthinking it because you're trying to figure all these things out. You're trying to kind of foretell the future and see ahead, plan ahead. And that is overcomplicating things for you, where you can simplify it in this way that I just spoke of, right? Because as much as we want to predict, we cannot with 100% certainty know what lays ahead. And we can plan, but plans don't always go exactly according to plan because there are unknowns. That's part of life. So it's maybe just taking that into consideration and looking more into what it is that you want to do now. Maybe what makes the more sense for you right now, or you feel will make the more sense for you along the road, perhaps. But let me pull out clarifiers because I feel I need to look at some clarifiers right now. So we have, the 10 of Cups, another 10. Interesting. And the 10 of Cups speaks about success, bliss. I wanted to say accomplishments because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with the 10 of Cups. And it does make me think of like a farewell, goodbye, and end. Because we do have these, I believe they're gophers. I think they are, waving goodbye. So this does make me think of an ending, a conclusion. So there will be an ending of sorts. There will be an ending to a journey, to a trajectory. There will be a satisfactory ending is how it's coming through. Oh my, and 2 cards flipped over together, and one of them is the Sun card. And the other is the Fool. Wow, 2 major arcanas. And the Sun represents success, bliss, joy, celebration. The Sun also makes me think of the happily ever after. And then the Fool speaks of new beginnings, but the Fool is quite interesting because it's the zero major arcana of the deck. So more than beginnings, this represents the before the beginning. You see, this capybara has yet to step foot into the unknown, right? They have yet to begin their journey. And it's beautiful. I mean, like we have endings and then literally a beginning. Like the Fool is a clean slate. Again, it's a before the beginning. So there's a beautiful culmination here. I think you're fulfilling something. I feel like your spirit animal or the seahorse wants to let you know that something will come to completion. You are nearing the ending of a cycle. You are nearing the ending of some kind of chapter, maybe an era of your life. And, this split row could be indicating that this is the time, this ending is leading to a new beginning. So this is the time in which you get to decide what your next chapter, what this new era will be about. This is the time to choose, right? And remember, there's no right or wrong. If you really want to look at it this way of there is a right and there is a wrong, or of one path being the better path, then look at it this way. The better path will be the path that you really feel drawn to. And the expression that just came to mind is honesty is the best policy. The Sun can speak about authenticity, and the 10 of Cups is about what brings you joy and what brings you happiness and what brings you fulfillment. So this is the time to decide what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what excites you. What is it that you can say, hey, I don't know what this will lead to. I don't know what this will end up as, or where I will end up if I take this path, but heck, I'm so excited about it that I'm willing to step onto this path. I'm willing to find out. That's kind of the vibe of the Fool card. It's like, I don't know what lays ahead, but I'm ready. And I'm now being reminded of a SpongeBob SquarePants. Every time he heads off to work, he sings that song, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, because he loves this job so much. And so he doesn't know how the day will be or what will happen at the Krusty Krab. All he knows is that he loves fry cooking. He loves making Krabby Patties, and that's his motivation. That's what gets him up every day to head to the Krusty Krab. And now the word wanderlust came to mind. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, I looked it up. I had to look it up because I wasn't sure what it meant. But it means a strong desire to travel. So if you have a strong desire to travel, then I feel like either you're being let known that you will end up traveling, because the Fool card can also speak about traveling, adventuring. The Fool makes me think of a nomad or of a backpacker. Those are just examples, by the way. It doesn't mean that you will end up becoming a nomad or backpacking around the world, unless that's something that you want to do. But if you do want to travel, you will be traveling. Or, if you have the means, if you have the opportunity to travel, and traveling is something that you want to do, then, you're being encouraged to go for it. Because this is the time. There's this feeling of now is the time. Now is the perfect time, or now is the right time. Now is the time to choose. And with the 10 of Cups being here, which this card often represents the home and the family, a lot of you could definitely be relocating. You could be moving to a place where it's normally very sunny, where the climate is fairly warm most of the year. I'm thinking of California, but doesn't have to be the case. That's just a state that came to mind. But some of you could be moving to the countryside, the suburbs, if you've always wanted to relocate to a place like that. Having the 10 of Cups here and then the Sun, some of you could be choosing to start your own family. The 10 of Cups can speak about marriage, and the Sun card can speak about pregnancy, children. So, and then with the Fool card, which is a very childlike energy or presence, some of you could be choosing to either expand your family or start your own family, settle down with somebody. Some of you could be considering entering into a long-term committed relationship partnership. Some of you could be considering long-term commitments, marriage. Maybe that could be the next chapter of your journey. Because I feel like this is the thing for some of you. Either right now or very soon you will be faced with the decision of, or the choices more like of, you can either continue with how things are, or you can move in a whole different direction. Your life can drastically change. But I feel like your life will change nonetheless. But, seeing all of these cards, it seems like there's beautiful outcomes here. Like whatever you choose, there's beautiful outcomes. There's so much happiness and joy. And it's interesting how he spoke about partnerships, marriage, family, settling down, because the seahorse, I believe, is an animal that is famous for being monogamous. Seahorses are often associated with life partnerships, because when one seahorse connects with another seahorse, when they mate, their bond is for life, I believe. Right? So definitely some of you could be committing to another, committing to a family. And then seeing that we have these two snakes intertwined, it once again makes me think of like two souls bonding, engagement, commitment, entanglement. And then we have two sunflowers here, partnerships. Two animals here going off on an adventure. So, a love message for those who are single. Your spirit animal wants to give you a heads up that you will be meeting a significant romantic partner, possibly a life partner, after or right when you experience an ending or completion. So if you've been single for quite some time, that is changing pretty soon. In other words, this 10 could be here to announce that soon your single or just dating days will be over. Since I do see you entering into a serious or committed romantic partnership with someone who could be a foreigner, someone who is currently at a physical distance from you or was born and raised overseas. In other words, this person may be of a different ethnicity or have a different cultural background than you. You could either meet this person when you travel or after you travel, or you may meet when this person travels to or after they relocate to where you are at. This relationship will be very fulfilling. In this relationship, there will be a lot of expressions of love and affection. So it could be that your future romantic partner will be very expressive towards you. They will not hesitate to let you know and show you how much they care for you and love you. Not only will they express it to you, they will also be very vocal to others about how much you mean to them and how much they love you. Or they will show it. For example, when you are out and about, they won't shy away from showing or demonstrating that you two are together or that they care about you. So this to me indicates that their love will be constant. Their behavior towards you won't change based on location, where you are at, or who you are with. If they hold your hand when you two are alone, then they will hold your hand in public. If they are affectionate towards you in private, then they will be affectionate towards you in public. Yet if you are not okay with this, then this will change. But if you're okay with expressing your love for each other in public, then they will be all up for it. And I don't mean getting all freaking in public. There will be some prudence. This is more so about them not hiding or being modest about the way they feel for you in front of others or in public. So if this is not already happening, then soon you will be in a very beautiful and fulfilling romantic relationship. I just see there being a lot of love and joy in your life. There is an overall feeling of contentment and celebration. Some of you could be celebrating an anniversary. That's something that is coming through. Some of you could be renewing your vows, or that's something that you could be looking forward to. Some of you could be starting a new chapter, a new era with the significant other, with the partner. Because that's kind of the vibe I get here, like going off on an adventure with a significant other, with a partner. It could be with a romantic partner, but it could also be with a buddy, a best friend, a family member perhaps. But what your spirit animal wants to kind of reassure you is that you have the freedom. And we have an eagle here, the American bald eagle, I think. Yeah, so the US could be of significance. But the eagle makes me think of freedom. So it makes me think of free will. You have the freedom to choose, to decide. And, you know, it's interesting how we have sunflowers here, because sunflowers normally rotate to face the sun. You know, they follow the sun because it is sunlight that gives them nutrients. So this is making me think of like following that, which again brings you joy and which fulfills you and uplifts you. I wonder if some of you are retiring. And so if you are retiring, this could be a situation in which now you have maybe the actual freedom, like the time to explore, to travel, to do whatever it is that you want to do, or invest your time however you want to invest it. Some of you could be moving from working a 9 to 5 or a corporate job or an office job to now being self-employed. And this gives you some sense of freedom, or the freedom to work on whatever it is that you want to work on whenever you want. Though I will say, you know, self-employment does come with its own set of challenges and its own set of rules, right? You know, because it's like everything is an adventure, and every adventure has its quests, has its hurdles. But with these 3 cards, these are very beautiful. This is like a beautiful, beautiful combination. The Sun, the Fool, the 10 of Cups, it's all happiness, it's all joy, all merriment, all playfulness, fun. And then the 3 of Bows is excitement. It makes me think of someone who is getting out of their comfort zone, someone who is exploring, someone who is widening their horizon, or maybe expanding their friend group. So there's so much potential here, because I am sensing a lot of possibilities here. Maybe what your spirit animal wants to reassure you or confirm to you that, once again, you get to decide now. So, okay. I said this recently in a general reading of mine, but I don't normally talk about these themes or touch upon them, which is like karmic cycles, karmic lessons. But the phrase karmic cycle did come to mind. So with the number 10 here, if you believe in karmic cycles, or you feel like you've been on one, or you've been learning lessons, it feels like you have ended a karmic cycle. You have learned a major lesson. It almost feels like you are now free, or very soon you will be free from some kind of contract. And so once you're free of this contract, once this contract has ended, maybe for some it's like a literal contract, but I'm thinking here of like a spiritual soul contract, like more pertaining or to do with like life lessons, for example, or maybe like patterns. And once this ends, it's like you have free reign. Like whatever comes up next is up to you. You're not obligated to see something through or to go anywhere, do anything, meet up with anybody. No, now you get to choose. So it's almost this feeling of your soul gets to decide now. Your soul is free to wander. Your soul is free to explore. It's free to experiment. Go ahead. Some of you could be creating something of your own, or you're being let know that you can. Like maybe start your own business, build your own community. The Three of Bows is also letting me know that at some point, if you want to, you can pursue more than one thing. Like more than one career, more than one line of work, or that one thing might lead to another. Because I see kind of like this branching out occurring at some point. But I am seeing so much happiness here. Like regardless of whatever lays ahead, there will be happiness. There will be joy. There will be contentment. You will experience long periods of peace and harmony and bliss. There will be opportunities to explore, to travel, to meet people, to play, to have fun, to socialize, or just spend time with loved ones, be at home, rest, make beautiful memories, core memories. The expression in holy matrimony just came to mind. But now I want to draw out an extra oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. If you are currently aiming to complete or achieve something, you will complete it. You will achieve it. That is if you choose to continue on. Like I said, there will be an ending, and after you achieve this, complete this, there will be a new beginning. There will be a start of sorts. This start could be like a branching out, one thing leading to another. It could be like the evolvement of whatever it is that you've been working on. I wouldn't say a continuation. It feels more like an evolvement of it. But for others, this could be like an entirely new beginning. Something completely different, perhaps. Okay, so 3 cards follow together. I'm going to take them. Okay, so we have self-worth with Taurus and wisdom. A pearl forms in an oyster. And the message, you are worthy. There is nothing that you need to earn, achieve, perform, or receive to make this statement true. Say something kind to yourself every day to help you remember that you are the pearl in the oyster. Oh, so this made me think that happiness is not at the end of the tunnel. It's not at the finish line. Happiness is here and now. You can experience it here and now. Don't miss out on the good, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. Because the grass is green right where you are, or it can be if maybe you invest a little bit more time in the here and now. But I chuckled a bit because oftentimes when I look at the Fool card, it makes me think of the expression, the world is your oyster, right? And then we have like an oyster with a pearl here. Yeah, so I feel like your spirit animal or the seahorse is coming through to say the world is your oyster. It might sound very cliche, but at this moment in time or very soon, it will be true. It will be true for you. And you are a pearl, right? With the number 10, it seems like you have come to learn so much. You have acquired so much wisdom throughout your journey. Wherever you are currently in your journey, you have come to learn so much. You have matured so much. You have grown so much. You have polished your skills, or maybe you are in the process of doing that. And I feel like if that is the case, you're being encouraged to continue doing that. And yeah, just remember, you are worthy. As you are worthy. But we also have jubilation or restlessness with Sagittarius and emotion, and the key phrase, a dolphin jumps above the waves. And the message, a feeling of jubilation can lift you up. There can be acceleration as you look to move forward. However, a need for movement can at times leave you feeling restless. Try to manage your agitation and question why you feel blocked from progress. So this sort of makes me think of the expression working for the sake of working, or moving for the sake of moving. So if you constantly feel this need to do more, to be more, to reach for more, I'm not saying that this is bad or that this is good. Instead, you are simply being advised or recommended to consider why this is. Why is it that you constantly feel this need to achieve for more, to do more, to be on the move, to go, go, go? And if this is the case, if you constantly feel this need to be on the go, 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 have you ever taken the time to slow down? Which was kind of what we mentioned at some point, like slow down and smell the flowers. See how far you have come. Take a moment to look back and see how much you have traveled, as well as appreciate the scenery around you, appreciate who you have currently in your life. Because it seems like you do have company currently, or soon you will have company. And the thing about a life's journey is the treasures, the gold, the beauty is in the moment. You know, a life is made up of various little stories. And so it's like at each stop, it's a time to celebrate. It's a time to rejoice. It's a time to acknowledge those who are with us and celebrate them and celebrate with them. So take these moments whenever you can and give yourself the opportunity to slow down every now and then, especially if you can, if you don't have to be on the go, go, go. And it's interesting that Dolphin showed up for you guys, because one of the options when selecting the groups was a dolphin. So if you were also drawn to that group with the dolphin, there could be messages in that reading meant for you to hear as well. But your other card is conviction with Sagittarius and wisdom. Again, Sagittarius with the key phrase, forging a sword out of iron. And the message, under extreme heat and pressure, you hammer out your ideals and beliefs. The sword is made of the powerful material of your values. Do not let yourself be deterred from your truth. So yeah, once again, you're being advised to follow your inner truth. There's a lot of ideas and beliefs around what is the right way to live a life, or what is truly a priority in life, or, you know, the meaning of happiness. But these are all ideas. You know, I don't think there is a universal truth. So it's just up to you what you choose to believe and what kind of beliefs you choose to uphold. It's up to you to decide what it is that you truly value. And remember, you can forge your own beliefs. You don't always have to follow the status quo. And also remember, our priorities can change. As we evolve and change, so do our priorities. So if what you deem to be important at some point in your journey, you no longer deem to be as important, that's okay. But, you know, seeing these, you know, two major arcanas and the Ten of Cups, I do feel like you might have really strong values that will not change or might not change through the course of your life. I feel like loyalty to you is super important. Loyalty, commitment. Yeah, so I just want to read this last sentence here. Do not let yourself be deterred from your truth. I feel like that's important. But let's see. The zodiac signs Sagittarius, Taurus, Leo could be of significance. I believe the Fool is associated with Aquarius, but I'm not quite sure. But I'll just throw it in there. Aquarius could be also of significance. And of course, the number 10 and the number 1, as well as the number 3, as mentioned previously. And the number 3 is a number of expansion, growth, creation, creativity. The third major arcane of the deck is the Empress, which is all about creation, giving birth to something new. It's about life and abundance, beauty and fertility. The Empress also makes me think of like slow living or like an idyllic lifestyle. But on the other side of the coin, it also makes me think of like luxury and comfort. So you can have that. You know, you can have those two things if you want them. Or maybe some of you are choosing to say no to a certain lifestyle in order to fulfill a dream or to live a different lifestyle. Some of you could be making that kind of decision. Happily so is how it's coming through. Like I happily decide to leave this, say no to this in order to pursue this other thing. The number 1 indicates leadership and new beginnings, as well as assertion. And with conviction, it's making me think like it's not about choosing the right thing, but it's more so about choosing the thing that you can stand by, that no matter what happens after, you know you will be able to see it through because you stand by this. I once heard this, and I think I'm misquoting it, but it goes something along the lines of, it's not about choosing the right thing, but it's about choosing something and then making it right for you, making it work, doing whatever you can to make it work, because you have it in you to do just that. You have the tools, the means to do just that. So it's having that kind of like self-belief as well. Oh, before I end your reading, I do want to read the message that is on the back of this card. So we have Seahorse with contentment, and the message: Seahorse is a calm and mild-mannered spirit, satisfied. Okay, so I had my phone on viewfinder mode because I'm recording with the camera, and then all of a sudden the viewfinder closed and the Instagram app opened up. I don't know what that is about. That's quite strange. I didn't press anything. And the first post that popped up was one that was speaking about building a good relationship with oneself and about selfhood. Yeah, so I'm just sharing that with you guys in case it's of significance. Maybe the social media app Instagram could be of significance, or social media, building an online platform, an online community perhaps. But the person who is speaking in the post is a neuroscientist. Again, just pointing it out in case it's of significance. Okay, but we have Seahorse is a calm and mild-mannered spirit, satisfied to amble throughout the sea. Father to many, he is dutiful and attentive, willing to bear the load. He is utterly content to be who he is, feeling no urge or pressure to be something he is not. He is accepting of his calling. When Seahorse is present, he encourages us to consider the friction in our lives, reminding us to reflect upon our perspectives with objectivity. In neutrality, opportunities manifest that might otherwise remain hidden. Interesting. So I feel like this is kind of letting you know that once you open up, once you allow yourself the opportunity to explore and be open to the possibilities, that's when doors of opportunity will open up for you. That's when universe will say, oh, so you're open to seeing what's out there? Well, then let's show you what is out there. Here are multiple options which you can choose from. It's up to you. And the sun is all about authenticity and allowing yourself to be seen. I mean, we have like a sheep here happily dancing in plain daylight. So yeah, if there's something that makes your heart sing, then I feel like you're being let known. Now is the time to pursue it. You know, if you can, go for it. And I feel like just you deciding that you want to pursue this or do this, immediately doors of opportunities for you to pursue this thing or for this to become possible for you to do will present themselves to you. Or at least that's the message that is coming through. Something else I want to point out are the animals in your spread. So we have seahorses. I believe these are gophers. We have dolphins, sheep, the capybara, eagles, and is this a Pomeranian? I'll just say canines, dogs. Could be a spirit animal of yours, or could be of significance. Sun imagery, sun symbolism, sunflowers, rainbows, pearls, clams, seashells. as well as white flowers or roses could be of significance. The legends of King Arthur, Excalibur could be of significance as well, or swords. This is making me think of like craftsmanship, and the pearls making me think of the month of June. So the month of June could be of significance. Maybe you were born in the month of June, or summer could be of significance as well. Oh, one last message. If something didn't work out and you still feel very passionately about this, like you want for this to work out, you are being recommended to try again. But when you try again, take a different approach. Do things a little bit differently, or you're being let know that something can be done, seen through, by taking a different approach, a sideways approach possibly. Yes, but that is the last message, and we have come to the end of your reading. Thank you so much for joining me, for sticking till the very end. I hope that the messages were of some assistance to you. If you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then consider subscribing. And if you are interested in a personal reading with me, then all the information to that is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And yeah, before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team, your spirit guides, as well as the spirit animals, or the essence and presence of whoever else came through in this reading, for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 4, the Cardinal, bienvenidos to your reading. So the messages or the phrases wondrous path and amazing beginning came to mind, as well as the word celebratory when meditating on the energy of this group. And there was a moment in which I began to feel very excited, almost out of breath. And it was because I felt a sense of rush, or as if a lot was coming in at once. Almost as if I were speeding through a timeline. And all the information I was taking in, all the images I was seeing as I was speeding through time, had me feeling a bit overwhelmed, out of breath, per se. So I feel like your spirit animal, or the Cardinal, wants to let you know or give you a heads up that there is still so much to see, so much to explore or to do. They want to reassure you that more fun and excitement lays ahead. I don't know how you might feel about that. I don't know if that is good news or exciting news for you guys, but based on the energy, this does seem or feel like something that is anticipated, something that simply is or should be more like. It's sort of like, yes, it is to be expected, or it sounds about right because it feels right, or that is how it should be. Because I will say this energy, or the energy that is coming through, feels very youthful, feels open and expansive. It feels like a space that is meant to be filled in, or it's meant to expand. I feel like I'm talking in riddles. I apologize if I am. I'm trying my best to convey what it is that I am sensing and or feeling. So I guess the bottom line is I was about to say your spirit team, but your spirit animal, or the Cardinal, simply wants to, I feel like they more so want to confirm to you that yes, there is more that lays ahead. Your journey is still unfolding, and they also want to commemorate or to bring attention to your beginnings and how things have unfolded, because I feel that for a lot of you, your life took a very unexpected turn at some point. Or if you don't feel this to be the case right now, this could be kind of a sneak peek of what is to come. So it could be that at some point in your journey, in your near future, you will be experiencing something unexpected that will turn your life around for the better. It's almost like it will help it flourish or blossom or be exposed to a whole new world. That is how it's coming through. And now the expression that came to mind is humble beginnings. So your story, your adventure could start with humble beginnings or a humble beginning. And as it unfolded, it grew and it flourished and it became something magnanimous, something beautiful, something that maybe is out of a dream or a wish fulfillment of yours. There's this overall feeling of, I maybe dreamed of it or wished for it or possibly even envisioned it, yet I never really expected it to look or feel or be the way that it is. Because truly, it's more than I had anticipated. So that could be how some of you have felt or are feeling when it comes to your journey, your life, or a specific situation. Or this could be how you will end up feeling at some point, again, when it comes to your life, an area of life, maybe your career, or a specific situation. And I will say, you have a very strong aura, almost impenetrable, meaning that you are highly protected. Your energy is highly protected, either because you have very strong boundaries or your energy field does a really good job of repelling anything that does not serve it or will interfere with its natural equilibrium and essence, or because you have entities, beings of light on your side that are very protective of you or that are so very powerful. Yet, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be all of these things. Which, if that is the case, it ultimately makes you someone who is very powerful and extremely divinely protected. What just came to mind was the image of someone spitting something out. So it's like, if you end up absorbing or taking in like your energy field that is not of your highest good, your energy field or even your mind, your subconscious will spit it right out. It's like, no, that's disgusting. It doesn't serve us. Out you go. And things such as jealousy and envy, if they're anywhere near your radar, you might detect it. Yet, again, because your energy is so powerful and you have very strong boundaries and you have learned to utilize your discernment and look out for yourself, your mental well-being, and so forth, you or your energy field or your guides, even your subconscious mind, your psyche, won't allow for these energies or this kind of behavior to influence you or affect you in any way that will bring you down or disempower you. So you might detect it. You might see, feel, know when it's happening, but you won't let it affect you. And I feel like I need to emphasize that you yourself won't let it affect you. It's like you're making a conscious decision that this ain't worth it. So that's pretty cool. But something else I want to point out is the color red, since it's so predominant in this illustration. So this color could be of significance. It does make me think of the root chakra, which is the energy center that assists with grounding and feelings of security, feelings of safety, of stability. Yeah, so just know that you are safe, or you have done a really good job with creating a safe space for yourself and building or establishing a very safe and healthy relationship with yourself. I feel like you guys have done a lot of inner healing, inner work. There's been a lot of growth. Okay, now let us move on. So first I'm going to draw out a number. Oh, and by the way, I will reveal the message that is on the back of this card at the end of your reading. So we have the number 10. So this number came out for group 3 as well. Just sharing that with you guys in case you were also drawn to group 3, because remember, you can choose more than one group if you feel called to do so. Yet with the number 10, it made me think of the 10th house in astrology, which has to do with one's public image, and it is the house of achievements, career, life direction. And I want to say success. I believe the 10th house is the house that is at the highest point. And so it is the house that is the most visible. And so how do you guys feel about fame, about being in the public eye, being seen, possibly being the center of attention or being in the spotlight? I ask because I just get the feeling that you guys, or some of you guys, are meant to be in the spotlight. You are meant to be visible to others. Or if it's not you yourself, it could be things that you create. If you are an artist, your art is meant to be seen by many. Or if you are a writer, your writing is meant to be seen, heard, and read by many. You know, just like a bird, birds, they sing, and their songs, they echo, they reverberate. And because of that, it ends up being transmitted all throughout. So to put it in a very cheesy and cliche way, you have a song and your song is meant to be heard, or it will be heard. And I don't know, for some, this could be like a thing, your thing, I want to say. Like, maybe you will end up being in the public eye for a long period of time. Because we have the number 10 here, makes me think of a decade. You know, especially if you want that to be the case, if you want this to be like your career, your profession. I'm thinking of celebrities, for example, or people who are in professions where they do have to get up on a stage or do public speaking, or they are in some kind of public forum. For others of you, this could be something that you will experience at some point in your journey. It could be momentary, or it could be for a short duration of time. Because for some, being in the spotlight could be like a necessary step to completing something or achieving something, or maybe learning a lesson, something along those lines, or it could be part of your growth, for example. But I feel like it is meant to be for you guys. It's meant to happen at some point, to some degree, some extent, maybe for a period of time. It will depend and it will vary for each one of you. And it might look a little bit different as well. But the number 10 can indicate completion and endings. And right now, the number 10 made me think of the Wheel of Fortune in traditional tarot, which can speak about fated events. And it can also speak about cycles. So as mentioned previously, I do feel like there is something you are meant to experience. And it's interesting because when I was meditating on the energy of this group, I did for a moment think of a pit stop. To give like a visual representation or an example, let's say you're planning to go somewhere and there's various ways to get to this destination. So there isn't exactly a set route to getting to the destination. You can redirect and reroute at any point, and it's okay. You will get to the destination no matter what. Yet, whatever route you choose to take, they all go through the same pit stop, one pit stop. So it's like you can take whatever route, it doesn't matter. Yet, whatever route you end up taking, you have to stop. You have to take a break at this pit stop. You just have to. It's like the one condition or the one request. And I feel like this pit stop is the one thing that is meant to be for you, that is meant to happen no matter what. Because it's like it's part of the journey, or it's very important. It's kind of like stopping at the gas station, right? You need that gas, that fuel, in order to keep on going. If you don't fill up the tank, then it's gonna be a little bit difficult to continue on your merry way. That's kind of the vibe I get here. It's quite interesting. So if there is something that you feel like it's meant for you, or you're meant to experience, something that maybe you're meant to fulfill is the word that is coming through, or there's something you're being nudged to do, something that you feel inspired to do, maybe it could even be a place somewhere that you feel inspired to go, then the reason why you feel this pull, this nudge, could be because whatever you're being drawn to, whatever you're being called to, is the very thing you're meant to experience, the very thing that it's meant to happen, like it's meant for you. And whatever this is, it is or will be something that excites you, that gets you pumped up, that gets you going, that feels, I wanted to say otherworldly to you, but it could be like something that feels out of this world for you, or like a wish come true. Or maybe this is something that other people who don't see your vision or who don't experience this nudge, this pull, might see as a bit far-fetched or like wishful thinking or like a dream, because it's not that it is impossible. It's more like it might be seen as like super cool, like, wow, that's your dream, or like that's what you're aiming for, or oh, that's what you want. Like, wow, that's big. Like that would be really cool if it does end up happening. Yeah, so I don't feel like it's impossible. It's just, it might be one of those things that a lot of people don't really go for or don't pursue, or that rarely happens, or maybe it does happen often, but people don't really talk about it, or the reason why it might seem a bit out there could be because there is this belief or this idea that it only happens to certain people, or that it rarely happens. But in actuality, it might not be that rare. It's just the mentality, the mindset that makes it seem a bit unattainable or rare, something along those lines. Okay, but I'm gonna continue because I feel like I'm just getting doubled up. So now I'm going to pull out a tarot card. Ooh, and we have journey. Wow. And it's cool because I was speaking about like a journey, and this is the death card in traditional tarot. And it's interesting how we have two birds. So birds could be of significance: red birds, cardinals, ravens or crows, or black feathered birds. They could be a spirit animal of yours. But the death card speaks about transformation, rebirth, metamorphosis. So with the number 10, there is an ending that you are experiencing, but it more so feels like, again, like a turn of events, like a transformation. Now, once again, I'm seeing a wheel. And because we do have a full moon here in the background, it makes me think of mystery, the unknown, the unseen. I do want to pull out the clarifiers first. I think you will experience an evolution of sorts that will be very distinguishable, obvious. Yeah, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace speaks of new beginnings, and the Ace of Pentacles in specific can talk about new financial opportunities, financial prospects, money manifestations, and financial breakthroughs as well. You see, what I feel is there will come a point, or you will reach a point in which things will change for you drastically. Like, it's going to be very obvious. And like I said, this feels like a transformation. Like your life could be transforming, or an area of your life could be transforming. And because we have the Ace of Pentacles and the number 10, for a lot of you, this could be in your career, profession, or your financial status. It could also be related to like higher learning education, but I feel like it leans more towards like career, profession, possibly public image, social status perhaps, and or financial status. And I keep hearing in my mind the phrase glow up. So for some, this could literally be or feel like a glow up, especially for other people, right? So because like I said, this transformation, this change, it's going to be very obvious. And so for those who know you or know of you, it's like one day they see you, and the next time they see you in a completely different space, place, it's like very obvious to them that you either experience a major breakthrough. So let's say person A wasn't doing well financially, and then the next time people hear about person A, they hear that they're doing really well financially. Like they now own a car and they own a house and they're dressing very well, they have money in the bank, or they have a business that is doing very, very well. But let me pull out the rest of the other card. And we have the moon in the reversal. And it's interesting because I did, point out the full moon in the journey card. So full moons could be of significance. It could be an important sign, symbol, or confirmation. I also thought of the new moon. Oh, but you know what this made me think of? Since the moon can speak about mystery and what is hidden, the moon showing up in the reversal makes me think of something being exposed. It's like that which was hidden is now coming to light. And so this kind of makes me think of, that rags to riches story, like that story of the underdog, the person that was going unseen for quite some time, and then all of a sudden their name is everywhere. They're in the spotlight. They're being celebrated. They're being talked about. They're being blessed left to right. And then the card at the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. And actually, I took a look at what the other cards were. They're all amazing cards. You have the King of Pentacles, Justice, the Sun, the Two of Wands, the Six of Wands, which speaks of public recognition, success, being celebrated, then the Star. Wow, it's like your life could be doing a 180 at some point. And there's this feeling of when you start your journey or at the start of it all, you might not see all of this coming. And even if you listen to this reading, even if you haven't experienced any of this yet, you might think to yourself, like, I can't fathom exactly how this would happen. Like, yeah, maybe I have a dream of becoming famous or doing very well financially, having my own business, experiencing a glow up, being recognized. Yet, even though I have this dream, I don't see, based on what is happening currently in my life, how it will pan out, how it will come to be. And that's the thing about all of this, is that it's meant to be a mystery. It's like maybe you're being given hints and clues here and there. You're being given, that ambition or that dream, that longing for this. It's kind of like, I feel like you're being given some kind of incentive, a little taste of what will come or can happen to get you going, to get you on that path, to kind of reel you in so we can get the ball rolling, can get that momentum going so that you can get to this point that we spoke about, like that pit stop. And this could be happening, like this major breakthrough, this new beginning, this career opportunity, or an opportunity to maybe start something of your own or share your talents, share your skills, be in the spotlight, or put a creation of yours in the spotlight, share it with others, may come after you experience some kind of ending, or it may come after a period of uncertainty, after a period of confusion. Some of you may be experiencing what is popularly known as a dark night of the soul right before you experience this beginning or this breakthrough or this shift, this transformation, this metamorphosis per se. Because I'm sensing a lot of confusion with the moon being here. The moon can sometimes represent like fears and insecurities. Yeah, a very confusing time. And this image looks a little bit frightening, but it does make me think of shedding layers. It does make me think of an unmasking, which is why I mentioned like a dark night of the soul or shadow work possibly. So some of you could be doing some shadow work before this happens, or there will be an unveiling of sorts, like something will have to come to an end, or something will have to be let go of or released in order to allow this new beginning. the expression that came to mind was the old ways have fallen, or the old ways need to fall away. In order to experience this, one needs to be okay with being seen. One needs to be okay with being vulnerable. One needs to be okay with change and transformation. And there's vulnerability in that. And allowing oneself to evolve, to transform. And especially one needs to be okay with uncertainty, with the unknown. I keep thinking of a procedure, a treatment. What came through in specific is a cosmetic procedure. So maybe some of you have had a cosmetic surgery done or some kind of surgery. And if this is the case, I feel like this is something that would have already happened. And so this is more so a confirmation for those of you who have experienced this. Because the reason why this is coming up is because I feel that through this procedure, or during this time that you were getting this procedure done, or you were going through this whole process, you could have been experiencing, like a dark night of the soul, or there could have been a lot that you were releasing at that time, like emotionally. There could have been a lot of fears that maybe you were confronting, insecurities that you were confronting and processing and working through. I feel like there was a lot of healing that was happening throughout that time. Or it could have been right before or right after. But I feel like they're saying that is over now, right? You came out of that and that is over now. Now we can move forward. Now we can move ahead. Now we can move into this new beginning. And I feel like a lot of you have already experienced all of this. I feel like this is more so like a reiteration, like a confirmation. Because if you haven't experienced any of this, I feel like the journey card is more so talking about an inner transformation. Like something is changing within. You are reconstructing, reframing maybe a way of seeing things, or your beliefs, your mindset, your mentality. Anything that was damaging to you, damaging to your mental health, your mental well-being, it's falling away. In a way, it's being like removed. And I wanted to say like surgically removed, because it almost feels like that. Like you're going into your subconscious, your psyche, to alter your psyche, or to remove something that was not at all helpful. So for a lot of you, this could have been a lack mindset, perhaps, because you are meant to experience abundance. This could have been a belief that created fear around being seen and being celebrated, because you are meant to be seen and you are meant to be celebrated. These could have been beliefs or ideas that kept you from pursuing your dreams, or kept you from believing in yourself, or from adventuring, trying, taking leaps of faith. The number 13 could be of significance. I feel a lot of you will be healing, or maybe you have healed wounds around something related to like physical appearance, or like beauty standards, beauty ideologies, or maybe your relationship with your physical body. Because I feel like you do have, or you will have, a very healthy relationship with your physical body, a very strong bond with your physical vessel. I'm sensing a lot of respect here. Like you seeing, you knowing your worth, and this knowing being unshakable. But now I want to pull out an oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and guidance for you guys. So if you ever feel this pull to do something, try something out, start something of your own, give something a shot, if you do feel that natural pull, that inclination to do it, I don't feel like I have to advise you to go for it, because I feel like you will feel called to do it. You'll just do it. And it will feel very natural. It might not even feel like you're doing something big. It might just feel like you're doing something normal. Yet without you realizing, this is you creating an opportunity, or opening doors of opportunity for yourself, entering into this new beginning. So I feel like the advice for you guys is just keep on going, keep doing you, and things will unfold. I feel like more so your spirit animal just wants to let you know that things will unfold, and that you're being divinely protected. You are being divinely protected. And we have kinship with Cancer and Spirit. And the key phrase, multiple generations gather around the table. And the message, in your mind's eye, imagine your ancestors welcoming you to the table with acceptance. Whether or not your actual family provides a feeling of belonging, draw strength from your visualization of emotional support and unconditional love. So this makes me think of like a spiritual team or of ancestors coming through for you. As mentioned, I feel like you have a lot of entities, beings of light, who are looking after you, who are working with you. You have a strong spiritual team. And I love it how we have animals here, a doggy and a cat. So you have ancestors, you have guides, you have spirit animals on your side. A lot of you could be healing like generational trauma, generational wounds, family wounds. Maybe there will be, for some, patterns will be endings, patterns that have been repeated from generation to generation in your family lineage. And these will be unhealthy patterns, patterns that really weren't serving your family as a whole or your family lineage. And I see you building a stronger relationship, having a stronger bond with family members or people who you deem to be your family, who will be like family to you. You will have people by your side who will be like family to you. That is a for sure thing. And not only people, also like animals, furry creatures, feathered creatures perhaps. As mentioned, birds could be of significance. And you will be receiving a lot of support. And I am thinking of a fan base, so a lot of you could have literally like fans, followers, or supporters. But if not, I just see you being very supported by loved ones, people who you come across with. It feels like you will have a deep impact on people who you will come across with. You might end up helping some people as well, like what maybe once you make it big or once you feel like you're stable yourself and you're secure, or at any point in your journey, if you feel like you can help, I do see you extending a lending hand to others, and that making a huge difference to the people who you are helping. And that's how you can impact, right? We often think that to impact or contribute to positivity in the world, we have to achieve something major or do something big on a grand scale. But remember, it's the little acts, or what we might deem as little acts, like extending a lending hand to somebody, being there for somebody. That is powerful. That has a ripple effect. And the expression paying it forward just came to mind. So that expression could be of significance. Yeah, and you will be shaping a community at some point, or you will be reaching a point, if you haven't already, where you will feel this strong sense of belonging. Like belonging to a community, belonging to a friend group, a family, or maybe this could be like you enter into a field, a career field, an industry, and you feel this strong sense of belonging. Like, yes, this is my place. This is where I feel the most alive, or I feel like I can thrive. The zodiac sign Cancer could be of significance. Some of you could be partnering up with a Cancer sun, moon, or rising sign, or maybe your significant other has a very predominant or important Cancer placement in their natal chart, and this is serving as confirmation. But Cancer season could also be of significance. But that doesn't have to be the case for every single one of you. That's just something that came through maybe as a confirmation for some of you guys. Yeah, I feel like this group is more so about receiving confirmations. So a lot of the things that I said, I feel like either already have transpired, or maybe you are currently experiencing, and they're meant to serve as confirmation and as reassurance that you are on the right path, and that there will be healing, there will be betterment, and you're heading in the right direction. And that all will be well, because all will be well. Okay, but now I want to read the message that is on the back of this card. So we have Cardinal with authenticity. Yeah, so I feel like that's what this was about, this illustration. It's meant to be expressing like authenticity, removing masks, feeling okay with being seen and being yourself, feeling empowered by who you are, by who you truly are at the core. Not feeling this need to pretend in order to be liked, to be accepted, because you will be accepted for who you are. Not for who you pretend to be, but for who you are. So we have, it is easy to make assumptions about Cardinal based on his vibrant color, but this would be a hasty deduction. In truth, he is not self-important. On the contrary, he has a healthy understanding of his place. He is neither bold nor shy, extravagant or haughty. His brilliant color is a true likeness of his authentic self, modesty, confident, and Uninclined to brag, he finds no reason to shy away from his hue. He teaches us to embrace our uniqueness and discover the power of authenticity. So embrace your uniqueness, embrace your strengths and your weaknesses, whatever you might perceive to be your flaws, and you will find power through it all, is how it's coming through. Or as you start to accept yourself more or lean into self-acceptance, maybe radical self-acceptance, you will start experiencing a shift. Because like I said, there's a lot of self-healing going on here. There's a lot of releasing of insecurities, or just confronting them, facing them, giving them a name, and then rising above them or working through them, possibly even working with them. And as you do, that's when you start seeing or sensing a shift. And not only within, but you will also start seeing a shift in your outer reality. Things will start transforming, and you will see yourself rising. You will feel yourself rising like a phoenix from the ashes, but you will also see yourself rising in your physical 3D, like rising in your career, rising in your profession. I know this is a bit too much, but for some, it could be like rising to fame or to popularity, rising to visibility. And as you do, I feel like that's when you will start connecting with members of your soul family, or people who you will deem and see as family. People who you will feel this strong kinship with, or this feeling of home, like coming home to them or feeling at home with them, or they could end up feeling like home to you. And there will be a lot of healing. I want to keep repeating that, a lot of healing. I feel like your mental, physical health will be improving, or you will see yourself being quite healthy, feeling quite good within yourself, about yourself, in your body at some point. And the number 10 is making me think of like coming full circle, like closure. And it also makes me think of a safe space, like a force field, like you are protected. You are protected. But these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. Once again, lobsters, crows, cardinals, birds, felines, canines, especially canines here, and lobsters could be of significance. The phases of the moon, the full moon, the new moon could be of importance, as well as coins or gold could be of significance, the color red, and gatherings. There's something here about gathering with friends, seeing friends, traveling to see friends, creating a space in which you can be with friends, that being of significance. You will have a space, a place to call your own, a space, a place to come back to, a space or place that you will call home. That is for sure. Okay, some of you could even be creating like a retreat or a recreational space, a kind of sanctuary for others or for a community. And the last message that is coming through is sing your song. Sing your powerful song. Let your powerful voice be heard. Okay, but these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for being here. And to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements, thank you so much for doing so, or for just letting them play in the background, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit guides and yours, to my spirit team and your spirit guides, as well as your spirit animal and any other animal that came through in this reading, for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye.